St. Louis and the St. Louis Cardinals have had with all the injuries as the Cardinals were constituted at the end of the year, having lost Clark, with all of the problems they had during the season, losing Tudor for about 2/3 of the year, making the trade for Pena, losing him for the first 2 months of the season, and somehow, some way, holding off the Mets and the Expos and then beating the Giants, and now on the verge of tying up the World Series at 2 games apiece after they were left for dead in Minnesota. Smalley starts things off in the 7th inning. Roy hitting for Niekro, and George Frazier throws in the Minnesota bullpen. 0-2 on Smalley. Roy, and we mentioned it the other night, like Niekro, a guy who's been in the big leagues for a long time, and he finally gets a chance to play in the World Series. Came up the other night, saw one pitch and hit it for a double. 1-2.
But the interesting thing to me about the Cardinals is that they were not expected to beat the Giants. Got behind 3-2. And then what did they need? They got 22 straight innings.
And that one goes through Lindemann and down into the right field corner. Smalley on his way to second. And the leadoff man is on from Minnesota here in the 7th inning.
In fact, you take a look at, hits the ball extremely hard. Usually the ball doesn't get any faster. A lot of times people will tell you that on the turf, but it doesn't slow down any when the ball's hit that hard. Misgauged by Jim Lindemann.
It's one of those rare times when an official scorer, or the 3 that are used tonight, Dave Nightingale, Howard Singer, and Jack Herman, are giving an error, and I think that's a good call. One of the few times where a fielder doesn't touch the ball but should have made the play.
Definitely playable. Gladden takes outside, ball 1. 1-0. Bob Forsch, who picked up for Matthews. Matthews with a strained quadricep. Greg had to come out in the 4th inning. As Gladden pops it up, and Pena comes back and runs out of room. And of course, Whitey is right where he wants to be now, because he's deep enough into the game when he can think about Bailey and Worrell. And in fact, in the St. Louis bullpen at the moment is the left-hander, Ken Bailey. Smalley at second. Nobody out. 7th inning, 7-2 St. Louis. One and two. So Gladden's career figures, including a grand slam off Forsch, and of course that was the other night. And so Gladden hits a grand slam off Forsch, and then Bob figures out how to get him and strikes him out here in the 7th.
Well, same pitch as he hit for a grand slam, but a different location. Not down, but it's away. The slider that he hit for the grand slam hung on the inside part of the plate. And also, we're in a little different park here. A lot harder to hit home runs here in Busch Stadium than it is in the Metrodome.
1 down, and Newman is the batter. 0 for 2 plus a walk. One and 0.
Unless you're Tom Lawless.
Well, pitch is kind of like real estate, really. Price goes up with the best location, right?
Oh, that's a groaner.
Might make the groaning column tomorrow, then.
No, that's only on Monday. 1-0 pitch. Hit back off Forsch, down to Smith, who has no play. And the Twins with runners at first and third.
Looked like it hit Bob on the right foot. And Al Newman has his first hit of the series.
Yeah, it did. That's
Bob
a ball.
on the right foot.
If it's at your left foot, you'll catch it. But the follow-through doesn't allow you to get back. And right there, you can see Ozzie Smith pointing to Lawless, be alert, because he knows there's not going to be a play, but if you round the bag, there may be a play.
And that ball inadvertently hitting Forsch, had it gone through, Ozzie probably makes that play.
We're saying that about every ball hit up the middle, to his right.
Cardinal infield at double play depth with a 5-run lead, runners at first and third, and it hits him. So all of a sudden, the Twins now have the bases loaded and 1 out in the 7th inning. And Gary Gaetti coming to the plate with a left-hander Daly in the bullpen. And here comes Whitey. So Herzog signals to the pen. He wants the left-hander to come in to face the right-hand batting Gaetti with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 7th inning.
Ken Daly's a 2-pitch pitcher, fastball, curveball. And I've had a lot of success going to the plate and just sitting on the fastball because he's got a reliever's mentality. He's not going to let you beat him with his second best pitch. He's going to make you beat him on his best pitch, which for him is a fastball.
And he comes in here to face Gary Gaetti. He faced Gaetti the other night. Daly getting in some work in that 8-4 Twins victory in Minnesota. He struck Gaetti out with the bases empty in the 7th inning on Sunday. And he faces him here with the bases loaded and 1 out. That's Smalley at third. Newman to his lead at second. Herbie Puckett at first. 7-2 St. Louis with 1 out. Gaetti, one of those aberrations. He had a better average against right-handers than lefties. He hit only .235 against left-handed pitching this year. And he pops it back out of play, 0-1. And there it is, 31 points higher against righties. Tom Kelly, that's the first laugh in World Series history from the manager in the 7th inning, down by 5. And it's 0-2.
Tom, however, keeping in character when his team's up. He looks like he's grim. When they're down, he's laughing. That's a pretty good formula when you think about it. Nobody needs you to laugh when you're up. No back slapping.
Somebody had a pretty good joke in the dugout. A couple of them laughing. That's out of play, so still 0-2 on Gary Gaetti.
You know, that formula of Gaetti batting 32 points lower against left-handed pitching, you would rarely see a left-handed hitter hitting much better against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching. But you often see that with right-handed hitters opposing left-handed pitchers, which means, I guess, that left-handers have an edge, and they certainly do.
That they do. My theory about that is that normally the guys that do not hit left-handers well like the ball on the inside part of the plate, because the natural movement from a left-hander is the ball is going to run away. Now they are trying to pitch Gaetti on the inside part of the plate, something we saw last night with Todd Worrell. Now they're going to go away.
Got him.
So they come in off the plate. The result is foul balls. They go away. Now, and I'm not saying it's easy to hit because Daly's throwing 91 miles per hour. And you throw it on the corner like that, you're trying to play catch-up, and Gaetti doesn't do that.
I think you explained that really well, Jimmy. Came inside to get him out of the way. It's not necessarily the pitch, it's how you got there. And he got there very well then.
Now Brunansky, and as you can see, 228 against left-handed pitching. And he pops it up. And it's playable, I think, for Lindemann. And it is. Daly works out of it. Still 7-2 St. Louis. And the ecstasy. And now George Frazier, and he knows a lot about agony. The last time Frazier pitched in the World Series in 1981, he lost 3 games. Here's the inside pitch on him from Paul Molitor.
Well, what makes George a difficult pitcher to face is that he has a herky-jerky motion, and he also has several release points. He can throw sidearm or drop down submarine or even throw over the top, and this makes it very difficult for the hitter to pick up the baseball. Now, added to that, George has been accused of throwing the Staten Island sinker, alias the spitball. When he goes to his forehead or behind his ear, it's time for those Cardinal hitters to check the baseball.
And going back to that 81 World Series, Al, you and I had a chance to work together. 3 of the toughest losses. Did not deserve to get them, did not pitch poorly. And I was talking to Dick Such about George Frazier, and he said he got buried in Chicago by some of the broadcasters, and it's taken him a long time to recover. Great stuff, over 90 miles per hour, occasional spitter, pretty good breaking ball. But what bothered him this year was the forkball. He hurt his fingers throwing it.
He starts with Oquendo, and the pitch is low and inside, ball 1.
Had about 3 or 4 quarter zone shots in the middle finger, trying to get rid of the tendonitis, and it's something that we've seen a lot of pitchers. Baron Guerra had problems last year throwing that new forkball.
Knocks it down and dug out. Nice play by Herbeck at first base for the out. Self-defense, that's all that was.
Third baseman, Tom Wallace.
As I said, once you release it, you should try to be one of the infielders. Of course, I'm not sure getting your body in front of it's the best way to do it. George recovers, and so does Ken Herbeck with an excellent play.
I do have to disagree with you on one point, though, Jim. The only way a broadcaster is going to hurt a pitcher is if he's got a bat in his hand. Right?
Maybe.
I don't know about that.
Oh, all right.
Then the fans start to get on him, and
Okay.
can do some damage. You can start messing with a guy's psyche.
And the reason I say that is because he changes leagues, and every American league park he goes to, they're calling him names. And it's been a while since he played in the American League. And
been a while since somebody homered in the series after a homerless season. Ken Holtzman, the pitcher, in 1974. And that year, Holtzman with Oakland, he did not hit during the regular season, and then homered in the World Series against the Dodgers. 1-2 on Tom Lawless.
That was Bob Gibson's retort to a particular writer here in the city of St. Louis. When asked if the writers got on him back in the late 60s, he said, the only way you can hurt me is if you swing a bat.
2-2.
So I was paraphrasing Gibson. I'll blame it on him.
okay.
One out, bases empty. Got him looking.
That looked like a wet one right there. No? Split finger fastball?
Looked like a hanging breaking ball to me.
Let me ask you this. Wasn't that Staten Island sinker, wasn't that coined by George Bamberger?
Oh, yes.
Your ex-pitching coach?
It wasn't the dry sinker. As Art Fowler, who worked for Billy Martin, taught all the Oakland A pitchers. Looks to me like just a hanging slider that a lot of times is called a ball, especially in the last year, but John McSherry thought it was just low enough to call it a strike.
Ken Daly now. Not a bad looking swing, 0-1.
And talk about that finger injury. What's happened, there have been a lot of pitchers with the new split-fingered fastball, which is thrown separating your fingers, that have had problems. pitchers. It seems like the guys with the most effective ones have the ability to spread their fingers, but it takes a lot of strength to throw that pitch. Comes out of your fingers a very unusual way.
Look down from the blimp at Daly, who did not hit this season because he's a left-handed short man out of the bullpen, and off times he's in key situations just facing a couple of batters. However, his lifetime average is 258, so Kent can swing the bat, you would think. One ball, two strikes. From the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise. 2 out, bases empty. Bottom of the 7th inning. 7-2 St. Louis. And down he goes. To the 8th we go. 7-2 Cardinals. The Cal Bears and the UCLA Bruins. 8th inning, Ken Herbeck the batter. Herbeck, Laudner, and Gagne. With Ken Daly on in relief of Matthews and Forsch. It's Forsch's game to win. 1-1. Start of the game 47 and down to 43, and it's supposed to get down into the mid-30s tonight. And what's the forecast for tomorrow? Anybody here?
About the same, I understand. I'll tell you, in this series so far, it's really not hard to pick out the most exciting inning, is it? Number 4 is ringing true.
Bottom of the 4th.
Wow.
1-1 pitch. 1-2. Seven runs, 9 hits, and 1 error for the Cards. 2 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error for the Twins. 2-2. Pena ready to whip it around, and McSherry says not yet.
I think Ken Daly overmatched 2 people there, Ken Herbeck and John McSherry. What a pitch.
Tommy Herr, routine play. 1 gone. Ken Herbeck goes back to the dugout to start the top of the 8th inning, and Tim Laudner comes up.
They have really controlled Kent Herbeck. Other than that bouncing single for 2 runs, they have really kept his RBIs down. No home runs after 34 in the year, and that's a key to beating this ball club.
1 out, bases empty in the 8th inning. Tim Laudner now 5 for 11 in the World Series. Strike. Daly was a member of the Cardinals in '85 in the World Series. In '82, he came in here in postseason as the only left-hander on an Atlanta Braves pitching staff, and they were overmatched by the Cardinals. St. Louis swept that series in 3.
Tell you, getting back to Herbeck, it's a very difficult thing when you have mostly right-handed hitters in your lineup, and you have to face the left-handed pitching that the Cardinals have. It's tough for a left-handed hitter to face the Cardinal staff at any time. Danny Cox, the right-hander, and then Todd Worrell, the right-hander. Mix in Bob Forsch, and for the most part outside of Lee Tunnel, you got 5 left-handers, 4 right-handers. They are all quality left-handers. So that's one reason, I guess, the lefties of the Cardinals have held Herbeck down so well.
2-2 the count on Laudner.
Tell you, if a left-hander starting the game, he says, come on, you right-handers, get this guy out of there. The same thing for right-handed hitters when a right-handed pitcher
really
starts.
reflects itself. 28 from the off right-handers and only 6 off left-handers. And the batting average about 230. Collectively up in the 280s, 285.
Ball 3 to Laudner. Full count. Atherton is throwing, and there's Don Baylor, possible pinch hitter, because Laudner is the number 7 hitter. So if they've got to go to the bench, it'll be Atherton to pitch in the bottom of the 8th. 1 out, bases empty. 3-2 on Tim Laudner. The night had that what's now referred to as the Tommy John operation.
And what's amazing about it is last October 10th he had it. It usually takes about 12, 14 months. He was back pitching in 7th month, and he had his best year this year. And it did not hurt his ability level at all. Didn't affect the breaking ball or his velocity.
Tommy Herr handles this one, and the Cards are 4 outs away from squaring the World Series. 2 down in the 8th inning. And Greg Gagne is the batter. Busch Stadium, downtown St. Louis, just a couple of blocks from the Mississippi River. I think most everybody knows that. The Cardinals have been exposed enough through the years on national television, and announcers have talked about it. It's been written about. I think a lot of people were surprised to find out the Mississippi River flows very close to the Metrodome in Minneapolis. In fact, if you really want to get technical, the Mississippi River is actually closer to the Metrodome than it is to Busch Stadium.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
how do you know
I'm
that?
sure you can do a lot with it, too. 1-1. We had our crack staff diligently pacing it off. The count.
This is what Tony Gwynn said. He usually goes with his fastball with a big lead. Almost looked like that was a changeup.
Looked like
Did
it.
not look like the breaking ball, and that's the first one I've ever seen him throw, or a little split finger. I'm sure all the National League hitters sitting at home are saying just what he needs, another pitch. The other 2 are already effective enough.
The Twins down in order, and at the end of 7 1/2, Cardinals 7, Twins 2. Bottom of the 8th inning. A reminder, Sunday, November 1st, America's biggest marathon, 22,000 runners in the New York City Marathon, and you'll see it here on ABC Sports. Times reflected at the bottom of the graphic, and that's in the morning, Sunday, November 1st. What are they doing? Looking at Lawless's bat? How in the world did he get it out of here? The Cardinal dugout. A happy collection right now. They're 3 outs away from squaring the series and guaranteeing a 6th game, as Coleman starts by lining one right into Gaetti's glove. So 1 gone in the bottom of the 8th inning, and it will bring up Smith. John Morris and the guys examining, they tell us, Kurt Ford's bat. Jose Oquendo, the batter, and the count 1-0. I beg your pardon. Ozzie Smith is the batter. What was it a former colleague of ours once said? Excuse me, I had a misshapen scorecard. And Ozzie hits a high fly ball to left center field. Gladden is there and makes the catch, and there are 2 down.
Yes, he will not get away that easily. There's a big difference between Jose Oquendo, Ozzie Smith, and Greg Luzinski and Lonnie Smith.
Yes. You've got a very good memory.
Yes. Well, I also have had a misshapen scorecard.
Right. 2 guys. Tommy Herr is standing in.
Let's see where broadcasters can not only affect pitchers.
Oh, yeah. The pitch is inside, ball 1, 1-0.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Oh, we can't get too jovial. They'll say we're not objective.
Who will?
They will. Anyway.
Cardinals, there's Lawless in the middle, number 12.
It's already concerning. I'm going to have to answer all those questions. They're going to ask the same question you asked. How did you do it?
Ripped into right field for a base hit. So Tommy Herr with a 2-out single. And that's the first hit off George Frazier. And it will bring up Lindemann. When the Twins come up in the top of the 9th inning, it'll be a pinch hitter for Frazier and then Gladden and Newman. Tom Kelly, and he's got Wayne Terwilliger seated next to him now. Wayne Terwilliger, we talked about him the other night. His whole life in the game of baseball, long career, and he finally makes it into postseason play.
You know, in the short period of time that Steve Carlton was up in Minnesota, he and Terwilliger became very good friends to the extent that they had dinner together the other night. And Steve Carlton at the game tonight with his wife, Bev. Not eligible, of course, to play in postseason play, but as we mentioned in Game 1, will be back next year, invited to the Minnesota Twins camp.
Jim Lindemann takes a strike. Lindemann, a rookie. There is Les Straker, who pitched so well last night. Got exactly what Tom Kelly wanted, 6 shutout innings. And if we go to a 6th game, and we're 3 outs away from that being guaranteed, it would be Straker. Herr goes, and Lindemann, it's a high fly ball to shallow left field. Dan Gladden is there, and that's the end of the bottom of the 8th. On to the 9th we go. Cards lead 7-2. St. Louis, the Cardinals on top 7-2. 6-run 4th inning, highlighted by Tom Lawless's 3-run homer. Al Michaels with Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver. Tomorrow night, Game 5. And if the Cards win tonight, Friday an off day, and then Saturday, Game 6. And that would be a day game. And our coverage would start at 3:30 Saturday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern. Mark Davidson to pinch hit for Frazier here in the 9th. He'll be followed by Gladden and Newman. Ken Daly trying to wrap it up for Bob Porsche. 1-0.
Tell you, that's Mad Dog. Mark Davidson. He was nicknamed Mad Dog in the instructional league by Kirby Puckett.
And the lady you just saw was Whitey's wife. I didn't want people to think that you were referring to Mary Lou as Mad Dog.
No, that's Mark Davidson because of the initials, MD, Mad Dog. And Kirby Puckett, yeah, that was it. Kirby Puckett nicknamed him that. And Al Newman, the 3 of them are in the club, and it's called the Mad Dog Club. And it's very exclusive. They have T-shirts. As a matter of fact, the T-shirt he has underneath that long sleeve shirt, it has "You Gotta Be a Dog" on it.
2-1 pitch. 2-2. Tomorrow night, we know it'll be Blyleven. There's Puckett waiting in the dugout. He's due up 4th in the inning. Blyleven for the Twins, and Whitey before the game indicating a victory would mean Cox. 3-2. There is John Tudor. Now he would pitch Saturday in Game 6. And next to Tudor is Cox. To deep center field where it's 4:14, and McGee goes back about 4:09. One guy.
Surprising power from Mark Davidson. Only 1 home run on the year. Known for his rocket arm. Pinch running ability. Pretty good speed. But that's what this park's all about. Get him to hit it to center field, and you got to be Jeffrey Leonard, as he did. He's one of the few guys that in the playoffs went out in center field.
Our producer, Kirk Alley, director, Craig Janoff, Peter Lasser, our pregame producer, Mike Glazer, Rich Gilbert, TDs, Rob Cowan, Earl Fryman, associate directors, Bruce Clark, Mike Cohn, Nancy Stern, assistants to the producer, Jerry Bobby, and our tech manager, Chuck Mertz, Peter Grimm, unit managers, Mike Farrell, Margaret Beauvais, telecommunications to Steve Hurt downstairs, and Alan Roth up here. Our kudos. 1-1 the count on Gladden. Tom Kelly, who watched his team come in blazing hot, will now, if the Twins don't rally with one gone in the ninth inning, be looking ahead to what would amount to a best-of-3 situation. And for Kelly, at least he knows he's going home.
I was going to say the same thing, that the Twins have won 4 straight postseason games at the Metrodome. They are 59-25 this year, including the postseason games, or I should say 60-25 this year, including postseason play. A lot of comfort knowing you're going back.
To Tommy Herr, 2 down. Daly has now set down all 7 men he has faced in this game, and all 4 he faced in game 2. And Don Baylor bats for Newman. The Cardinals with Mike Rourke on the right, trainer Gene Gieselman and Nick Leyva and Red Schoendienst, and the leader himself, Doral Norman Herzog. As the Twins stay alive, Don Baylor with a 2-out single to left as Coleman gets it back in. So Baylor with a single and 2 down, and Kirby Puckett, the batter.
Another look at Don Baylor's base hit. What good hitters will do, they'll adjust. 2-1, threw it right by him. He got a little bit quicker. Thusly, the base hit into left field.
You saw Newman reflecting the faint hopes of the Twins down to their last out. Puckett. 1-0.
And I'm sure when they do that little hat routine, one of the evil spirits was not a 3-run home run from Tom Wallace. Hard to imagine.
Tom Wallace. Not too many many people are going to remember that he hit 080 in 1987, but a lot of people are going to remember what he did in Game 4 of the World Series. And again, the Twins are down to their last strike. 1-2. Burbeck. First in the ninth. Brunansky. Two and two. Don't get the call from Kaiser.
Well, the same strength that allowed him to hit 28 home runs allows him to stop the bat.
Smith, and the World Series is a best of 3. To square the World Series at 2 games apiece. And the Budweiser play of the game.
I'm just so happy that I get a chance to play here. I didn't get a chance to play much during the season, and I'm just having a ball right now.
He got 25 at-bats during this season, did not hit a home run, did not have an RBI. What happens to guys like Al Weiss of the Mets, Brian Doyle and Bucky Dent of the Yankees, and now Tom Lawless of the Cardinals? What happens to guys like you?
I don't know. It's just that, you know, I'm just so happy to be here. I just, you know, something I'll remember for the rest of my life, and it's just going to stay with me for a while tonight.
You know, Tom, I always wonder, when a ball club loses the World Series like they did so badly in 1985 when they seemingly had it won against the Kansas City Royals, are you guys on a mission? It seems as though you beat the Montreal Expos, shut them out twice, you came back, you shut the Giants out twice, now you lose 2 ball games up there, you seemingly seem down on your back, now all of a sudden you come with a great comeback here at home.
It's been like that all year. It's like a mission for us. We weren't supposed to beat the Mets. Then the Expos played well. We weren't supposed to beat them. And losing in '85 when we thought we had it won really hurt us. So we got here, and we want to win bad this year. So we're going to, you know, everybody wants to win, you know, 24 guys.
Heroes are made in October, buddy. Keep it going. Let's go back to Al Michaels.
All right, a couple of October heroes looking on from down below. That's the story from St. Louis, where the World Series is now even at 2 games apiece as the Cardinals beat the Twins 7-2. Al Michaels for Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver saying good night from St. Louis. And a reminder to join us tomorrow night for Game 5 of the 1987 World Series. Bert Blyleven for the Twins, probably Danny Cox for the Cardinals. Coverage begins after President Reagan's news conference at 8 Eastern Time. Game 4 of the 1987 World Series has been